Hi, welcome. Got Texas hair and I don't care. Well, I said I was gonna do some individual book reviews and now's the time. If you hear kids screaming at each other in the background, those are my teenagers. Have no screens until the house is clean. So yeah, there will probably be a lot of background noise. I'm just gonna go ahead and apologize for that now. In my last video, I went over the 6 books that I read at the beginning of June, and I discussed how some of them needed longer review videos. This is that time. It's going to be a little ranty, so if that's not your thing, if you don't like negative talk about books, this might not be the video for you. Despite it all, I'm still absolutely hooked and going to continue reading the series. I don't understand it either. So let's just go ahead and talk about, come in.
And taking the good dustpan.
Have fun with that. So let's go ahead and discuss number 1 of the Queen's Counsel series, Rebel Rose, by Emma Theriault. I'm gonna say that wrong, aren't I? Theriault. Emma Theriault. This is a Disney Hyperion book series that continues the story of the Disney princesses after their happily ever after in the movies. And it gives each of them a historical twist or context that may have mildly been hinted at in the movies, but wasn't overt. With Rebel Rose, of course, the Golden Rose, it's about Belle from Beauty and the Beast. She is living in the time period of the French Revolution, which you gotta understand is one of my favorite time periods. I feel like a lot of history girls kind of go through a phase with the French Revolution, especially if you are one of the few people like me who enjoyed Tale of Two Cities. There's so many issues with this book. Problem number 1 was I did not pick this book for myself. This book was a gift from my mother-in-law. I have not read a lot of Disney adaptation books. Last one that I attempted to read was a Sleeping Beauty Twisted Tale book. I couldn't even finish that one. Since it was a present, I was like, yeah, I will totally read it. And then I put it off, and I put it off, and I put it off. And then I get a text message from my mother-in-law saying, oh, the second book is out. I probably need to read this. So I took this book with me thinking, okay, maybe I'll get halfway through it. No, I finished it. I'm as shocked as anybody else, especially since I spent a lot of time hate reading this book. Just to get started, they change Beast's name to Leo. Yeah, Leo, like a lion. And they give an excuse for why his name is changed to Leo. Leo's the nickname that his mother gave him. I was okay with the name change. I was like, oh, okay. I would forget about it because Belle would think, my husband this, and my husband that, and my husband. Or they would talk about the beast. And all of a sudden, the prince walks into the room and he's described as Leo. It would take me out every single time. So that was problem number 1. Problem number 2 is I feel like while reading this book, the ending and the beginning were written first, and the middle was just thrown in as filler. I mean, it is painfully redundant. Belle will not trust Leo's cousin over and over again. Belle will doubt herself, and over again, Belle will discuss how she doesn't want to be queen, and she refuses to take the title of queen, even though she knows everybody looks at her as a queen anyway. 2/3 of this book are those same thoughts and ideas. Whew. It will try your patience, friends. Some of the parts that I'm sure drove people nuts were parts like this. Belle bit back her retort. Since when does Belle ever hold her tongue? Bastian still didn't know of the curse that had held Avignon in its grip for a decade. Leo had flirted with the idea of telling his cousin everything, if only to seek more informed counsel going forward. But Belle had strongly urged him to keep the curse a secret. Why would Belle of all people urge him to lie? They all lie about to everybody where Leo's been and what has been going on, and there's good reason given for it, but in a world full of magic, they've got to keep magic a secret? What? The halls were empty, and Belle needed a refuge from her thoughts. She tried to think of happier times with Leo, back before they had left for Paris, when everything seemed simple in the wake of destroying a curse, back before he took the crown, when it had felt like there was nothing that could come between them, and even if something tried, they would have been able to take it on together. 2 sentences. That's a whole paragraph, and it's 2 sentences. Why are there so many run-on sentences in this book? It is painful. Repetitive, redundant, run-on. But the beginning, it does a very good job of providing a rough historical context within a YA framework, digestible enough for younger audiences to understand, trying to put Belle into the center of the action, even if it is a little bit questionable how it all comes about. The ending of this book, I believe, is also very well done. It introduces Le Fou, that's French for the fool. It gives him depth. I think it takes a lot from the live action version of Beauty and the Beast in regards to him, and I appreciate that. Like how they take his motivation and turn it in a very Disney-fied kind of way. There's a lot of things that are unbelievable about the story of Beauty and the Beast, so if the ending of the book wraps up a little bit too neatly, I'm okay with that. Like what it does for Le Fou's character. A lot of people did not care for that in this book. I did, because he's one of my favorite characters, not just turning him into a 2D villain. That's something. Other thing they did is there's this title here, Queen's Counsel, and you will spend the majority of the book thinking, why is this called Queen's Counsel? The reason why it's called Queen's Counsel was very enjoyable to discover, and so I will not spoil it here. It's revealed why it's called Queen's Counsel. You're like, oh, that's how they're going to weave together all these disparate characters throughout different time periods of the Disney princesses. Very excited to see how that thread is woven into the next book. Book 2 is about Mulan. So Rebel Rose is about Belle. This next book, Feather and Flame by Livia Blackburn, is about Mulan. I was pretty harsh on this book. I gave it only 2 stars. 2. Not as ranty as I thought it was going to be. Forgot the part where I'm supposed to ask you to like this video, please subscribe to the channel, and I appreciate you joining me on this slightly rant-filled review of Rebel Rose. Coming up will be a fuller review of Jasper Fford's Shades of Grey. So tune in next time. Thanks, everybody.
And you're watching Not Disney Channel. Down, 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 down. Perfect.